Hello everyone and welcome to Theola Gaming. For those who have never seen us before, which is basically everyone because this is probably the first episode you'll ever see, we are a channel where there's a group of us and we sit down and normally we'll play a game together and discuss life, God, and just the happenings in the world together over a game. But this week we decided to do sort of a Halloween special, so today I'll be playing Goat Simulator Goat Z for everyone, while the other two guys with me, we've got Jacob
G'day, how you going?
and Joel,
Hello.
and they'll be watching me on Twitch, and
Oh, Jacob will.
we'll just yeah, and we'll be watching hilarity ensue, hopefully. I've only ever seen a stream of this game and I've never played it myself.
I played Goat Sim a couple times. It is hilarious.
Yeah,
Shenanigans are real.
well, that's a good omen. So, later on today we're going to be discussing Halloween and how we should think of Halloween as Christians. Oh wow, this is in depth. Do I want to do Goat Z before Outbreak or after Outbreak?
Ooh.
I got no idea what either means.
I told the other stuff before. I have no idea. Outbreak sounds like it could start shenanigans. Make things a bit interesting.
Which one was that? Oh, whatever. Let's go before. I'm assuming the outbreak will actually happen. Hopefully. Now let's go after. Get straight into it. Also, I'm the Italian dinosaur goat. No tutorial. We can do this. Wait, I'm the zombie? Wow, that's even more awesome than I thought. So I can infect people.
Or other goats.
That's amazing.
Right,
need
and I
this game
completely
in my
lost track
life.
of thought. But yeah, this is our Halloween special. We'll be discussing Halloween later on, but in our first segment for the week, we're going to be... So this show's going to be made up of 3 segments, which will be separated into episodes. And our first segment is just going to be us sort of... just our thoughts for the week. Just any sort of... an elephant just fell off a railing. There's my thoughts for the week. Okay, so
This is
yeah,
a
it's our
great
thoughts
game
for the
to be
week.
playing while trying to have a serious discussion.
I know, it's more absurd than I thought. So we'll just get right into it. So our thoughts for the week. Obviously,
All right.
you can tell from our voices we're just young dudes ourselves. So it's not like we're some sage telling you how to live life, but surely there's something we can give to you. Oh wow, my head's doing weird things.
I mean, what do you say? What do you say?
So, I'll go first. So thoughts for the week. I came across, technically it was last week, but ooh, I can eat things. I came across a rather interesting depiction of Satan last week. I don't know what I'm doing here. So, I won't say where from because it's a mild spoiler for that. But in this media, Satan was called Master Mirror. And the reason for that name, at least as far as I can tell, is because in this depiction, Satan's not some evil deity corrupting mankind. What he is he's almost like a genie. So, if you've ever seen or heard of Faust, the play, is that sort of idea where in exchange for your soul, he gives a wish to people. But the reason he's called Master Mirror is because with that wish, things tend to go terribly bad for people. Lots of evil can happen. and basically their life just tends to fall apart until eventually their soul is claimed by the devil. But the name Master Mirror comes out because it's not actually Satan that's corrupting all these people. He's just the mirror. It's the people's own desires that do that. By enabling people to live out and have their unworthy desires, then that's how he corrupts the world. And I found that a really interesting depiction because I think both as Christian and as sort of nominal Christian, we tend to think, oh, there's evil and stuff in the world. That's got to be Satan, because humans are basically good, right? That's what people are like. But the idea behind this depiction is that no, humans are evil, and Satan just sort of enables us, gives us the power, gives us the, or even gives us like, oh wow, I grabbed someone with my tongue. Gives us the power and the.
I love this commentary.
Yeah, I know, right? He corrupts us through giving us what we want, and it's what we want that's the real corruption of mankind.
I'm reminded of James chapter 1, where it says, one is tempted by one's own desire, being lured and enticed by it, then when the desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin, and that sin, when it's fully grown, gives birth to death. Referring in there to this idea that God isn't the one that tempts you, your own desire tempts yourself, and this concept, maybe this applies to the devil as well. Like, it's not that something makes you, the devil made you do it, not a thing. You chose to do that thing, and maybe there was something else there that enabled you to make that decision more easily, or increase the, I don't know how it works, but the root cause of the bad choice is yourself, and no one else. You can't blame it on anything.
Yeah, and it's like, we look at Genesis, and that's... Wait, what? Did I die? I died. That's a thing that can happen? Okay.
Aren't you undead?
Respawn, I guess. Yeah, we look at Genesis, and that's sort of the most direct picture we have of Satan's action in the Bible, and he doesn't, it's not really him that corrupts people. Like, his words are, did God really say that?
Well,
he just sort of puts it in
see,
Eve's heart.
He's not trying to draw people to himself. He's just trying to draw people away from God. So it's really a question of, it's God in the absence of God. But Satan's like, he's not trying to like gather people directly to him. He's just trying to get people away from God.
Alright, so that's all I had. Yeah.
Well, I don't think that much, so I've got nothing to really contribute along these lines. Jay-Z, wow us with your brilliance.
Alright, so it actually came from a life group study on 2 Corinthians 2. So it mentions being the fragrance of God. Pretty interesting thing to say, being the fragrance of God and what that means. And yeah, it's really cool, like how that analogy actually makes a lot of sense. Bad kind of bad. Because it, like how people actually know God, how people actually realize who God is, understand God, and see like it's actually we give off the fragrance that He's given us. That's through how He's forgiven us. So we in a sense give off fragrance that actually points to Him, and that's a really cool illustration. There's a lot more in the passage, and we'll spend like an hour discussing that because it's just a really in-depth and heavily implicated statement. But another thing was just talking about in that section, Paul writing about we're not peddling the gospel. Okay, and the difference between peddling and I guess proclaiming it is that in peddling you're kind of hamming up the gospel, like trying to make it appealing or trying try and make it something it isn't.
You're not giving
But-
a sales pitch, yeah.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is the reason we don't peddle it is because it doesn't need peddling.
Hmm.
It doesn't need to be hammed up in a way that we think it is. It already stands as God wants it to, which means it's already powerful enough. It already has, being able to offer new life and forgiveness to God is already a massive thing that you can't really top that. So us hamming it up actually take away from it.
Verse 16 makes a point there in that chapter 2 that's quite good. It seems like to those who are already, it says those who are being saved and those who are perishing. So those who have closed themselves off to the gospel, the preaching of Christianity, it says it's a fragrance of death to death, as though what we're preaching is. It's perceived as death by those who are walking, if you will, in death. If that,
That's right.
and the other way around for those who are open to the gospel, who are open to Christ, because they are walking or beginning to walk in life. They see this as a message of life. That people will receive it in accordance with where their hearts are at. And the fact that some people seem closed to it doesn't mean you should stop preaching it or you should try and make it more palatable to them. You've got to rely on the Holy Spirit to be at work there as well.
Absolutely. And
It's a cool passage.
There's a lot in it, and didn't there 8 verses there roughly from about 17 or so. It's quite challenging as well in our, I guess, how and what it means for us to be the fragrance of God. Like, there's a lot of an act component to, I guess, our life now that we've been forgiven. And that's, this comes out many other places in the Bible, but it's a really, really interesting passage. Yeah. Any other thoughts on that one, Jesse?
I just really like probably the picture I like best about sharing our faith in the Bible is the where I think it's Corinthians, where God talks about us as being Christ's ambassadors on the world. So I really like this picture of us not being the wow, there's a guy urinating in the pool. We're not that guy. I really like this picture of us being not the peddlers or the persuaders of Christ. We're the ambassadors. We have no power, no authority of our own to go and give this message. We're just the guy sent by the powerful nation or king, in our case, king, to just say his word to the world, say his decrees, his declaration, and to try and have his power and greatness be respected in the world, I guess.
Right. And another thing it also talks about in there is about your recommendations of each other, and that kind of follows on in that, in the same we don't peddle the gospel, like, Paul's recommendation, he doesn't use like various, a Caesar here or a king, or try to get some celebrities to endorse his product. As you said, as teachers were, there are various people who, oh look, these are like beliefs that I believe, like this is awesome belief to have, and well, this famous whatever it is, that sort of thing. Well, it doesn't, and his recommendation is actually the lives of the Corinthians and the lives of the people who've been transformed by the gospel. So it's not these people having power over the thing, let's say, the belief, in that I say it's good, therefore it's good. Instead, it's this is good because of how it's changed me. You know what I mean? You see the difference there?
Yeah.
Is that clear? Yeah. I think it's really, really cool to see.
Can I throw in also in 1 Corinthians 1, Paul talks about that it relates both to this aspect of our calling not to be like, you know, the celebrities or the great salespeople, but just to honestly represent the gospel, and also this aspect of, you know, people will believe what they're going to believe, and that's not a reflection on the gospel or otherwise. Where he says, Christ did not send me to baptize, but to proclaim the gospel, and not with eloquent wisdom, so that the cross of Christ might not be emptied of its power. For the message about the cross is foolishness to those who are perishing, but to us who are being saved, it's the power of God. He goes on to say, the Jews demand signs and Greeks desire wisdom, but we proclaim Christ crucified, a stumbling block to Jews and foolishness to Gentiles. But to those who are called, both Jews and Greeks, Christ the power of God and the wisdom of God. For God's foolishness is wiser than human wisdom, and God's weakness is stronger than human strength. Consider your own call. Many of you were wise by human standards, not many were powerful, not many were of noble birth. But God chose what is foolish in the world to shame the wise. God chose what is weak in the world to shame the strong. God chose what is low and despised in the world, things that are not, reduced to nothing things that are, so that no one might boast in the presence of God. I think that's cool.
So
Yeah,
I kind
that's
of
it.
broke myself. I think I'm stuck in a shelf. Alright. So any other thoughts on that?
This is such a great game to be playing during this serious theological discussion.
I know.
Just like,
Theology, guys, it's as
about
serious
something
as
like
Goat
out of scripture,
Simulator.
and next minute there's a guy peeing in a pool or something like that. Goats exploding. It's so good, so good.
Right, and I think with that we'll end this episode, because I'm going to have to restart anyway. So, but don't worry guys, we still got 2 more to go. Next we'll be discussing the news, and I will not be stuck in a shelf anymore. See you then.